What's up, humans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jeff, and today we are going to be going over the Choose Your Own Adventure Fantasy Book Tag. So this was an original tag that was created by a team of fantasy booktubers led by Joanna. Joanna, in her video, which I will leave linked down below, tagged me because she and I have been in a number of buddy reads over the last few months, and we tend to have very similar opinions, both popular and unpopular, of the books that we've read. So she was really interested in hearing my feedback on this tag that she created. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So question number one is your fantasy twin, which is a character that you relate to on a personal level. Um, so my original answer to this was mostly a joke to my friend Gregory, and that was Larimar from Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. He and I read this book together a couple months ago, November, December-ish. I think he might have been doing a reread of it at the time, but we were chatting about it on Discord a lot. And he came up with the ridiculous notion that I was essentially Larimar because I gave out advice to people such as that they should not drink coffee after noon if they have trouble sleeping, and that as such I was a total stick in the mud, just like Larimar was in Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. However, personally, I think that I relate a little bit closer to Light Song, which is uh, the other character that shares a lot of the same scenes as Larimar in Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. Light Song is a god that does not believe in his own religion. And as somebody that grew up in a very religious household that is no longer religious, that was something that kind of struck a little bit with me as I was reading. Light Song is also very sarcastic. He tries to eschew a lot of tradition and question a lot of tradition. Are we doing things for tradition's sake, or is there actually reasoning behind it? Who is it helping? What is our role, and how do we actually help society? And in the meantime, he just makes a whole bunch of sarcastic jokes along the way. But also deep down, he cares very, very much about the people that are close to him, even though he tries to put on this air of not giving a shit, which is probably pretty close to how I also approach life as well. Um, so out of those two, depending on who you ask, I'm either Light Song or Larimar, if you're asking Greg. Question number two is a hero that you aspire to be like. I thought long and hard on this one, and I came up with a couple of good options, but the one that I finally settled on was Hadrian Blackwater from the Rhaeria Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. Hadrian is the most just good for the sake of being good character that I could think of. What's interesting is he is actually a thief and a mercenary. So he isn't necessarily lawful good, but when it comes down to it, he is like the moral backbone of that series. And he really does balance out some of the darker characters, the main darker character, Royce in particular, and keeps him on the path of good, and making sure that even though that they might be breaking the law, even though they might be, thieving, they are thieving from people that deserve it and giving it to people that do. Very Robin Hood-esque. He is very much a defender of the meek, and somebody that will just do what's right for the sake of being right. Uh, He is also a master swordsman, somebody that walks around with three different swords because he knows how to use each one of them. Um, and overall, just a good guy, and somebody that I think we could all try to be a little bit like in our everyday life. Question number 3 is a champion. Choose somebody to be your champion in a duel. I know this is probably going to be a popular answer for this question already, but really, I just from a standpoint of if I want to win, who do I choose to be my champion? I could not think of a better answer, and that is Tao from uh, the Rage of Dragons. I think the series is called the Books of Burning, or the Burning Book, something like that. Anyways, Tao from Rage of Dragons, Fires of Vengeance. Um, he is just the embodiment of rage and will fight till he can no longer. Tao is just the embodiment of rage and will fight to the death. He will fight beyond the death. He will not stop. If I want somebody that is just going to walk in and obliterate anything that you put in his path, I can't think of anybody else that you put in other than Tao. Number 4, an unlikable character, somebody that you love to hate. This one might be a bit of a hot take. This is probably going to be the most hot takey one in this video. Uh, but in December, I started The Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, and we were buddy reading it on Discord, as I tend to do with most of my books that I read these days. And it was one of the most fun buddy reads that I've been a part of in a good time. And a lot of that came from the reactions that we all had to this one character. And that character is Matt. And Matt makes so many dumb decisions one after the other in that book that we just could not help ourselves from poking fun at him. We at some point decided to rename him Abu from Aladdin due to a particular scene and plot element that happens in Eye of the World. I don't want to say more of that just in case, spoilers, all that. But if you've read it, you can probably figure out what I mean by that. And we just, oh man, we grilled Matt so hard. And I have been told that Matt does that my opinion of Matt is likely to change as I continue throughout the series. As I'm recording this, I have about 100 pages left in The Great Hunt, which is the second book in The Wheel of Time. My opinion hasn't changed that much yet, but I am starting to at least really enjoy making fun of Matt, and so I felt like he really fit the bill of somebody in this that I love to hate on, and in kind of a joking, loving way. And I am really looking forward to seeing his character grow and develop, and maybe discovering at what point he stops being just a total dumb butt. Question number 5, a tavern buddy. Name a character with whom you'd want to have a drink or spend a night out on the town. This was another one that I spent some good time thinking of, and I came up with a few options. But once I thought of this answer, I was just like, boom, done. That is the one. That's going to be a wild and unforgettable night. Well, possibly forgettable because there's a good chance that it ends in a blackout. But it would be so much fun, and that would be hanging out in a tavern with none other than Brasti Goodbow from the Greatcoats. Brasti is one of the main characters in the Greatcoats. Falkio, Kess, and Brasti make up this trio that is very much like the Three Musketeers of this fantasy world. And Brasti is just, I would describe him as kind of the uh, the heart of the trio, in the sense that he is the happiness of it. He's the lighthearted guy, the one that's always cracking jokes, always down for a good time, always trying to hit on whichever women he can find in the tavern, always trying to go up for the second round. And and I think he would just be such a fun person to have a night out on the town with, especially out of those three guys. He's the one that I would love to hang out with the most, and it would just lead to, I believe, in an unforgettable, wild, fun evening. Number 6 is the villain. Name a villain that you do not want to cross paths with. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple. Going back to a series that I'm currently making my way through right now, The Wheel of Time, I'm sticking with the Dark One. That is one powerful dude that I do not want to have anything to do with. I do not want him mad at me. I do not want him to know about me. If I happen to exist in that world, I would just want to be a little sheep herder farm boy that was not a chosen one and didn't have anything to do with the Dark One, because he doesn't seem like a fun guy. Right, number 7 is your mentor. Name somebody that you would love to have as a mentor or a guide. Um, I'm gonna pick from one of my favorite trilogies that I read in 2020, and I've been seeing getting mentioned a lot around BookTube lately, which I'm super happy about. It's a self-published trilogy, fantastically written, and I want everybody to go out and read it. And that is going to be the Paternus trilogy, and I'm going to pick the character Uncle Edgar. Um, Uncle Edgar is the uncle and primary caretaker of our main character Fee. Um, and as this trilogy goes on, something that is very common in it is that pretty much everybody is at least one or two other people from various world religions and mythologies. And Uncle Edgar is no different. I don't want to say in this video who he is because I want to leave that surprise for you in the books. But especially as we get into the second book in the trilogy, he has just some powerful conversations with our main characters, um, and is very protective, very paternal, and has just lots of really good advice that can be, that the reader can take as well outside of the book with them. So if I wanted somebody, as kind of a guide and a mentor figure, he's definitely one of the best ones that I've read recently. Number 8 is, what is number 8? Samwise. Number 8, Samwise. Choose somebody that you could trust to be your best friend. I'm going to go back to the Rhaeria revelations for this one, specifically Theft of Swords, specifically the Crown Conspiracy, which is the first half of Theft of Swords. And I'm going to pick a character that is just one of the nicest, warmest bundles of sunshine that I have read in all of fantasy, and that is going to be Myron the Monk. Because Myron is just a total sweetheart and could do no harm to anybody and would love nothing more than to just sit in a tower and read books forever. And that's the kind of person that I want to be friends with. And lastly, number 9 is found family. If you could adopt one character or take them home, who would it be? I'm going to pick a character from my favorite fantasy book, The Lies of Locke Lamora. And that's going to be Bug. And if you've read it, if you know, you know. I'm not going to say more than that. I think that's going to be a good spot to wrap up this video. So I am just now realizing that before sitting down to record, I did not actually think about who to tag in this video, and I didn't check to see who already has been tagged, because I know a number of booktubers have already done this and have already been tagged. So we'll just take this as, if you are watching this video and you have not been tagged and you would like to do it, then tag you're it. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Peace, guys.